AFTV, Dan, frustrating game, wasn't it? Very frustrating game. 2-0 up, we're thinking to ourselves, you know what, at last, a proper performance by Arsenal, attacking wise, with scoring goals as well. A couple of the players that have been criticised on the score sheet as well, looking really good, and then just like that, it's gone.
Yeah, 2-0 and we effed it up, man. And I can understand why Aston Villa are singing that, because they must be thinking, wow, we didn't even have to do much. I think they had 4 shots, 2 goals, didn't have much of the ball. Clinical, again, we had that against Newcastle, we could say the same thing. And we're not as clinical up the other end. Look, today I've got to say, the actual players I wanted to perform well did. Like you mentioned it already, Martinelli, Trossard, thought both of them stepped up today on the wings. I thought Declan Rice back in the 6 where I want to see him, I thought was excellent. You look at Kai Havertz getting on the score sheet, which everybody wanted. Lewis Skelly was outstanding again. And we've walked away with a point. And it's frustrating. Look, I'm going to say this now. I think it comes down to the summer. A lot of people will look at the manager today, the players. I think it comes down to the summer, because when we started to tire today and when they got that goal, we looked to the bench to go, right, we can't drop points here. What are we going to do? There's nothing, Rob. We've got a few injuries in this side, but a lot of the teams have. I think all 20 clubs have got injuries right now because of the amount that we're playing. In particular, Arsenal are playing three games.
I saw today that Arsenal got the third most all season. They've had the third most amount of injuries, just behind Tottenham. So they've really been suffering from injuries. I mean, I looked at that. Even you look at the back four today. That was our back four that played at all last season.
Look, we have got injuries, but we've got the smallest squad in the league by choice. For whatever reason, it's us and City that have struggled with injuries, and we've got 22 players. And at the moment, when you get 5-6 injuries, that means you've only got a few players there on the bench that are going to look at it. And I look that summer and I think to myself now, the Sterling signing, he was the only one today that could come on, and he was trying but wasn't getting across the line. And then I'm seeing Maldini, who's 18, warming up, and then a couple of other youth projects that are coming through at the moment. That's not good enough, Rob. Not when you're going for a title. And I think now you've got to be realistic about it. We could potentially be sort of nearly 10 points away now if they win that game at Everton, which I think they will do at Goodison Park. I think the title was done anyway. As soon as that summer window shut, I said to everyone, we ain't winning this title, which is why I'm not angry anymore. I just kind of accepted it. I knew that we were going to come to this stage where we'd struggle, and you can hear behind me now, people aren't happy, people are not happy with it, and I think it goes...
That's the odd man, he's never happy.
Well, that's true. That's true, bro. But I can understand why he's not, because the summer was not good enough. He didn't show ambition enough, and this is why I do look above Mikel Arteta now. And I think as much as I look at the in-game tactics, and we'll come back to that in a minute, I do look at our squad and I think, that ain't serious for a title. That ain't serious for 4 competitions, which is why we've gone out of 2 already. We go for the Champions League. You don't have to be the best in Europe to win it, but it really is Champions League or bust for Arsenal this season. I really do think that, in terms of a trophy, because I don't think we're going to win the league. Because look at it, people say to me, do you think the title was over? The reason I do say yes is not because we're this amount of points behind Liverpool or we're playing like this. Look at the way we are playing and how inconsistent we are in terms of dropping points, and you'll know why we are not going to win this league and get across the line. Because it doesn't matter what Liverpool are doing, it doesn't really matter what Forest and Chelsea are doing and City are doing, it matters what Arsenal are doing. And I ain't happy with the performances and the level of consistency that we're seeing in this team. I'm seeing a lot of clusters of results, I'm seeing cups being dumped out again, and I just don't think it's good enough, and we should be raising the standards of this club. And I look at the ownership and the board right now, and I ask the question, is this transfer window open yet? Is it open yet? Because we're doing nothing in it.
18 days in.
Bruv, Christmas time, we should have been looking, going, right, got some injuries here. Saka's just gone down. We've got Jesus now who's out on top of that. Waneri's gone down as well. Ben White's not back. Tommy's not kicked a ball. What are we going to do? Nothing is the answer. So I need to see something happening, because if we do get to a stage where potentially we're going into this window yet again, not buying someone, that ain't good enough from the above. That ain't good enough from the board. That ain't good enough from the ownership. Because the manager can go out, and there are definite worries with him as well on the in-game management, substitutions and tactics of the manager this season for sure. But I look at the situation right now and I think to myself, hang on a minute, you're going to need some help and support now. You're going to need some help from the board. You're going to need some help from the ownership. Right now, things ain't good. Yeah, we're struggling in games. We're not killing off teams. We go 2-0 up and we're not winning the game. And I look at the situation and I think, What are we actually doing at board level to try and help that? Nothing. Nothing's happening at all. There's no Gyökeres, that's a release clause. There's no Osimhen, that's a release clause. There's no Nico Williams, that's a release clause. There's no Lookman, that's a release clause. We can go into the Premier Leagues and say, do you know what? Brian Mbeumo, let's get him in. Let's get Semenyo in. Let's get Kudus in. There's so many players. Cunha, João Pedro. All these guys are playing for Brighton, Wolves, Bournemouth, West Ham. Why can't we go into one of those teams and do it? We don't have any ambition here at board level or ownership level to go, this is what we need right now. Let's get this player in to get us across the line. Let's go and bring these two guys in because we're struggling for injury. And the Cronkies aren't doing nothing about it from what we can see. Now, we've still got days left, but these games are like dwindling away.
These games are gone now,
Games are gone now. So, look, it's frustrating for me to look at it right now, look at that bench, and I'm going, who's that? Oh, I don't recognise him, must be a youth player. Who's this one? Oh, I'm not sure about him. Oh, I recognise Maldini from the Carabao Cup. And that's what I'm looking at. And I'm thinking, Sterling it is then, or is it Zinchenko again? Because that summer window, let's be real, Neto's not kicked a ball, right? Calafiori's been injured. Marino was injured and coming, and let's be real, today didn't have a very good game again, I didn't think. And we've got Sterling who's coming on to try and impact games, and he's struggling. That was it. That was the summer window. There was no striker, there was no cover for Odegaard, there was no cover for Saliba, and there was no cover for Saka. And guess what? Those three players have been injured this season. Saliba's out today, Saka's out, Odegaard's out. We're talking about internal solutions by Mikel Arteta. He's not managed to find a solution for any one of those players being out. So I come back to the manager again today, Thomas Partey at right back. Look, I don't actually think he's shocking at right back. That's not the issue. It takes away from our midfield and it shuffles more than just one position. You have to put somebody in the middle. You have to put Kivior in the middle. If you don't rate him, why did you sign him? What's he there for? He's the backup centre-back. Bring him in. Otherwise, you're shifting, and you're shifting because one player's out. That shouldn't be like that, Rob. And people will say, well, Tommy Asu's out and Ben White's out. Surprise. I didn't expect Tommy Asu to be injured this year. He's been injured for the last two. So we can't keep making all these excuses about players being out. If he was fit, he would have been here. It's not. We go back to the summer. It was a poor summer. I'm sorry, I don't know how many times I can say how bad this summer was. It was not an 8 out of 10 window. It was not a 7 out of 10 window. It was a 3 or a 4 out of 10 window. And it was a disgrace, if I'm honest. And I look at the board and look at the ownership right now, and I need to see some reaction. I'm not seeing anything. And we've got what? How many more days left? We've got 13 days, not even 2 weeks left. And we've not brought these guys in. So if we get a player in, how long are they going to need to mould in? And we're going to get another Marino to come in and try and make things happen because he was poor today. Yeah, Calafiori at the moment, 40 million euros is spent on this guy. Lewis Skelly's better. Big up to him today again, Miles. Absolutely quality from Miles Lewis Skelly. Brilliant performance. Yeah. But we've got Calafiori sitting on the bench, £40 million. Could that not have gone towards a striker? Could that not have gone to a replacement of Odegaard? Could that not have gone to a replacement for Saka? Could he have come and actually replaced the right-sided centre-back?
You wouldn't have known nothing about Miles Lewis Skelly if it weren't for the injuries. So,
well, look, that's the only positive light. That's the only shining light. And it is, I said that on my last fan cam, it's the only shining light to these injuries is it's given Ethan Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly a chance. That's the only thing. And that's what you have the youngsters coming through for. You can't rely on them all the time, though. We can't now look and go, right, where's the next Lewis Skelly to come in to replace Saka? Where's the next Ethan to come in to be our next striker? Where's the next one to come in the left-hand side? This is the problem I've got. It's so frustrating for me, man. It really is. So, look, Cronkies have got to go and do something. Board have got to do something. Otherwise, it could be Steven over, man.